We're gonna get a quick moment for let the system load. Let's see. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Homebuyer Academy Live with your host Maurice. I got my brother Chad on here with me. How's it going, Chad? How you doing today?
My brother, how you doing, man? I'm blessed, happy to be here.
That's awesome. I'm blessed, man. It's truly an honor. I'm glad we're here on another Tuesday. I'm glad that we've been consistent in this thing, man. It's exciting that week after week, the impact that we've been having in the just the impact and the feedback. That's the word I was looking for. The feedback that we've been having recently. And I know on the last episode we was talking about making it more entertaining, more conversational. We got a good treat for you guys tonight. We're gonna get a little personal on the chat today, on the conversation. But we're still talking about the homeowner process. And yeah, let's just get into it. Chat, what's going on? Let's go first and foremost, because I always love the chat updates. Because we've been doing workshops. He's been crushing lunch and learns, and closing and well, the people got to hear what's going on, man. What's been going on?
Well, man, I gotta tell you, it's been a mad dash as of late because the interest rate dropped a little bit, and we're expecting the interest rates to start coming down.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're seeing just preliminary shifts, so where people are starting to at least raise their hand a little bit more and say, hey, what's going on with the rates? And in all reality, the rates are headed to be being a good bit less than what they've been. But even with
Mm-hmm.
that, we're in a market where there are a lot of exciting opportunities going on, where just the price points
Mm-hmm.
and the opportunity for concessions have really been game changing for a lot of clients. So I'm really experiencing opportunities to have buyers close with very little out of pocket or a lot less than they would have when because they're getting 3% or 4% or 5% or even 6% sellers concessions to help them close. So yeah, man, it's been really exciting to watch the game shift. A lot of people don't have the stomach for it and are sitting on the sidelines, whether that's buyers or
Mm-hmm.
agents. But no reality, man, the game's gonna play. It's just you're gonna be on TV or you're gonna be on the
Mm-hmm.
couch.
Yeah, you're gonna have people watching it, or you're gonna get involved. That's awesome, man. That's
That's
awesome.
right.
And so, before we get too deep into the conversation, I did want to shout out Homebuyer Academy, our organization, our team on the back end. Everyone, you know who you are, and I know they want to, stay on the back end. They don't like their names out there, but you know who you are, and we appreciate every single one of you that keeps, the well-oiled machine of Homebuyer Academy going. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Y'all the reason why we're still having this with consistency. So we thank you. Shout out the Homebuyer team. And the first question I asked, because this weekend I went to a Christian singles event, and so one of the good topics that they had there was the important conversations you need to have before you get married, right? And with me being a widower, so I was married, and Chad being married, one question that came to mind was, is it a good idea, I guess, for like a man or your future spouse, should you get your house before you get married, or do you think that's something that should wait? Like first you find someone, then you guys get a house together, or what are your thoughts around that?
Man, that's really a dynamic question because that really
Mm-hmm.
addresses two issues that we have, especially in the black community. In the black
Right.
community, people aren't getting married, people aren't buying houses. So the truth, need to start buying houses, people need to start getting married. And
Yeah.
the only reason why I say that is because these are two inevitabilities, right? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
going to live somewhere and you're going to have sex,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you're going to live somewhere that you own. If you're gonna get it popping, at least do it in a way that's gonna be a blessing to you. Because inevitably, on the other
Mm-hmm.
side of it, children come, right? But the bottom
Mm-hmm.
line is that when you bring those two ideas together, I think that you should buy your house whenever you're ready, whether you're in a
Mm.
relationship or whether you're single, right? And if you are in a relationship but you're not married, it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot more risky because if somebody hasn't committed for life with you, they're
Mm-hmm.
committing for life with you on a house, a 30-year mortgage,
Yeah.
right? Does that mean that you shouldn't buy? I still think you should buy, and I'm going to tell you why. If you
Tell it.
structure your, can you hear me?
Yeah. No, you good. You good. You good. No, you're fine. That wasn't as loud as you think it is.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Sure, your house, and you purchase the house, and you do what's called a ladybird deed, right?
Mm,
What that allows you to do is it allows you to have your estate planning built into your traditional deed. It's not that
mm,
crazy or expensive of a process, but at least it gives you a little more security in saying, if everything hits the fan, this is how I want things to go, right?
right.
And even though that's not going to be ironclad, because if you have one not like one boyfriend that wants to sell and a girlfriend wants to keep it, y'all are stuck. But
Mm,
if you're married and the husband wants to sell and the wife wants to keep it, y'all are still stuck. You need two people on the same page either way. So if you're considering buying a house and you have somebody that's a significant other, spend the extra time with the game plan as to what you
mm.
do in the event that you guys don't agree. So it's like a prenup for a house, even though you guys aren't getting the prenup for your relationship. But hey, I think that's better than missing out altogether and just paying rent.
Yeah. So like, and so with that in mind, it makes me think of like that because I see like two lanes, right? Like I see people that would buy a house together before they get married, but then I'll see people that are married that never buy a house. Like, why do you think like that happens more often? Like, do you see that? Like, especially like in your 20 years, have you seen that like often, or is that just something like that's on the internet people talking about?
Now, what I think is at the root of people not buying is
Hmm.
misconceptions.
Mm,
When you have somebody who's had like a credit event in their life,
hmm.
uh, they are still living in that event. It could have been
Mm,
2 years ago, could have been 5 years ago, could have been 10 years ago. But you can't tell them that they don't have bad credit. And when they think and they embody bad credit, it's going to impact the way that they live. They're not going to take the steps to actually apply to start reestablishing credit. They
hmm.
oftentimes just readjust their lives so that they never need credit and don't revisit it. I can't tell you
Right.
how common that is, especially with men.
Mm.
Like 90% of my clientele are women.
Wow.
Uh, and that's because they're actively and consciously looking to improve their lot. They're looking to make a change. Dudes, it looks like guys are just, as long as they got peace, they're willing to live under a bridge if they have
Mm,
to, rather than changing, which is unfortunate.
mm. So that looks leads into like one of the questions on here on how honest should you be? Because I know one thing that scares people is the money talk and relationships. Period. Because that's like one of the leading causes of divorce is miscommunication, and one of the top miscommunication things is money. Um, and you gave the example about the bad credit for 2+ years. How important is it to be like upfront and honest with that? Because you made me think about a story you told me this weekend. I don't know if you want to share. You don't have to share it, but it made me think of that. Like they was moving forward, and then you're like, "Oh snap! You have all this on your credit. I thought we was ready to move forward." That happens too, right?
Nah, son, I had a crazy one this week, right? I had this client. Well, first off, honesty is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, not everyone could take honesty, but I'd rather be honest and
Mm-hmm.
have somebody not handle it well rather than be dishonest and still not have them not handle it well. Because
Right.
you can call me an a-hole, but at least you're not going to call me a lying a-hole.
Mm.
Right? I'd
Right.
much rather that. But man, I'm going through this deal, and there was short cash to close because they ended up having some unforeseen expenses. And we're like
Mm.
trying to figure this out because where's the money going to come from? Yo, the whole time we're trying to figure this out for 2 weeks. The dude had another account with $15,000 the whole time. The whole
Mm.
time, bro. So I'm over here doing all kind of mental gymnastics to make this deal work, and I'm having it's challenging.
Mm.
It came to the very last minute, and they said, "Oh yeah, he has this account." So honesty is
That's
everything
wild.
because I feel so I feel resentful personally because I've spent months working with these people, building them up, getting them ready, getting them prepared for all of the inevitabilities, and I told
Mm.
them to wait. It was more prudent for them to wait and take time. But people
Right.
have life things happening, and you got to sometimes get on their wavelength.
You just got to get on it. Yeah.
And I did that only for that. I'd rather not do business than do business like that.
Mm.
So honesty is so important because once you know what it is, you can take the steps to fix it, to build it, to grow it, change it. But if it's a secret, it can come back, when it matters most, and stop you from getting what you want to accomplish.
Mm. Now, now I know you said like 90% of like the client base like more women by than men. But in like relationships, do you feel like it matters more? Like, is it more on the income, or is it more of like his versus hers, like in marriage, like his versus her credit score? Is it more like his income versus her income? Like, what's weighted? Like, is it weighted differently, or like, because I feel like it's just
No, it's the same.
circumstantial.
It's just
Mm.
what you're gonna find. This is what I find commonly, right? A lot of the brothers, they had a credit issue or have a credit issue, and a lot of the times it's like, okay, our lease is gonna expire and we need to do this, and they finally get on board. Or it's something like they're self-employed and they don't really do their books well. So at
Mm-hmm.
that point, it's harder for us to use that income to qualify. But these are all things that are really, really fixable. It's just a matter of being aware of what the issue is so that we can consciously work toward building it. So, for example, if you have somebody who's been self-employed, they had their LLC for the last 7 years, but they're not filing all of their taxes or their books are a mess, cool. We don't need to solve the 7 years worth of problems. What we
Mm-hmm.
want to do is get them set up with the right professional that could help them on a long-term basis, but focus on your right now goal inside of that. So it really is a way that we don't make the challenge so overwhelming or insurmountable, and we just give them the piece that they could see, they could feel, they could imagine themselves overcoming. But yeah, man, our brothers. I mean, it's really disappointing, and
Right.
disappointing is the wrong word, right? Because it's not like a. It's more like a. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish I was
Mm-hmm.
in more of a position to help heal, because it's an issue from New York down to Florida and everywhere in between. And I just wish there was a way that we could connect more and really support our brothers to make it happen.
Yeah, because you got me thinking now. Like, how can we make a better impact on that? Because like if you look at the relationship space, it feels like it's an attack on the brothers. If you look in the mental health space, it's like it's an attack on the brothers and the culture. And now we're looking at these numbers here, and it's like not that many, unless they're married or really really in it. They Not too many guys brothers are buying homes, and it's like this whole thing is when you look at really who's in a sense losing, it's the brothers. And yeah, you just kind of sparked like a thought for me, like how can we really make a difference? Like, what would the impact be if there was like real estate amongst real estate? Because I feel like we're in a culture climate of like kick 'em while they down. You have this one over here like, oh, let's big up our brothers, and then you have this other side over here that's like, let's keep kicking them while they down.
I mean, the truth of the matter is that it's society. Society's never eased up off of our necks,
Yeah.
and you know, uh, unfortunately, it's also reflecting heavily in our relationships.
Mhm.
Um, I've been on both sides of that equation. I've been on the side of the equation with uh, a woman who uh, didn't appreciate the masculine struggle, the black man struggle. We gotta, it's different. It's different for us,
Mhm.
right? And we generally tend to handle it with grace and swag, but it's a lot more. it's a lot more overbearing than it looks on a lot of us. When you really look at the history of what we deal with, man, it's not normal. So it's
Right.
very important that, like you said, with the mental health space, that we are conscious about making sure that we're mentally and emotionally okay, and having these outlets. Like, we're both a part of Route 7.
Mm-hmm.
Man, let me tell you, if you're in Orlando and you're a brother, you got a link.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Shout out to
beautiful
them.
space where brothers get to be brothers, men get to be men, and we get to hold each other accountable. We get to be there for each other in a way that I haven't seen in other platforms in my life. But
Mm-hmm.
it's going to take things like that, your Route 7s, your Boys and Girls Club, your My Brother's Keepers, but consistent ongoing work where we're vulnerable and we put how we feel and what's going on in our lives on the table. The problem is a lot of dudes rather act like everything is okay rather than take the time to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah.
And I think we have to adjust that within ourselves. But as we keep on working towards it, I'm sure that, and all we could focus on are the people
Mm-hmm.
that are ready to move. We could volunteer and spend time with people who aren't and really do what we can to support them. But we got to be
Mm-hmm.
very mindful because, man, we got a lot coming at us. So we also have to
Right.
be self-aware and put on our own mask before we really worry about anybody else. So in terms of buying real estate, investing in real estate, or investing in any other avenues, it's important to deal with brothers that are on that wavelength, that are there or going there, that could actually pull you up rather than always having to be the one to pull people up, because it gets exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Like interesting enough, like that's kind of what draw us to build Homebuyer Academy the way we're doing it now. Because remember a couple years ago when I had like my men's ministry, being in those groups, the common thing was like stress from work. Like everything was around like their money problems. Everything was around building wealth or being secure financially for their family. The other thing was maybe their spiritual walk, but really it was like the spiritual walk and making sure that they can afford to do this, do that for their family. Or they work hours. Like one, I'll never forget. One guy was like, he was having trouble with his relationship because he had to work more hours, but the more hours was to feed the family, but that took away from being present. And so he's doing all this stuff for the family, and he wasn't getting the appreciation that he wanted. But then that all stimulates from like managing your money well, and that's where we start with the basics in Home Buyer Academy. The primary thing is the home ownership, but the basics will get you to that pinnacle, to that space. With everything that's within the Home Buyer Academy platform. Because I'm like, if we can solve that one issue, that wealth creation for our brothers, that definitely would shift, I'll say, the paradigm. I think we got a good thing going here, man. But like now that light has been shed on a deeper need, because it was always there. We always had a passion for that, but like seeing that, like imagine what could happen if they started taking this free game that we're giving them, applying it, and now we got communities.
Yeah, but brothers got to be humble.
Hmm.
The reason why I say 90% of my clientele base is women is because they acknowledge that they have a goal. They acknowledge that they might have a challenge. In many cases, it might be credit. In other cases, it
Mm.
might just be not knowing what to do next. But they're willing to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Brothers have just as many questions, if not more. But for whatever reason, there is a lack of vulnerability in being able to say, hey, I need help. I need help with my credit. I need help with saving. I need help with understanding these things. And there's just so much ego. And, ego, I think, is probably not really getting to the depths of it, because it's not
Hmm.
just ego. Ego is an element of
Right.
it, but I'm talking about the part of it where it's just like, who do I open up to? Who do I
Mm.
trust? Who's
Right.
really gonna help me and not take advantage of me? Because as a man, like, that's the worst thing that you could, nobody wants to
Yeah, that's
be
the biggest fear.
played as a dude. So a lot of men would rather keep it inside rather than putting it out there, putting it on the table and getting played. So, I'd
Hmm.
hate to reduce it or minimize it by just calling it ego, but that is a reality that we do have to overcome, because,
Mm.
you know, it's affecting us. And again, it looks like this turned into a brother on brother
Yeah,
conversation. But
yeah,
shoot,
I'm saying that's the goal that that we wanted to get out of this is real
and we here
conversations
for you
about
too,
this.
ladies. We here for you too, our
Yeah, we here
sisters.
for
We
you.
definitely want to. But y'all already know. Y'all gonna hit the QR code and schedule that call so we could talk about
Yeah.
your home goals. But we want to get a
Mhm.
little deeper with our brothers. Apparently, that's where we're going tonight.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely agree with that because also I think the word you might be looking for too is pride. Like ego, like pride stimulates
Pride,
from
yes,
ego.
pride,
Because
yes.
the pride will have you sitting with because this was me before like before I became a homeowner. The pride will have you sitting with a 580 credit score and not wanting to tell nobody you're trying to make it work when you could have just said, hey, how can I build my credit and apply it and then get to a better credit score. But now you're like, hey, let me see what I can do with this. And you're like, yeah, I got good credit. Lo and behold, I got like a 580 and I'm struggling trying to, gotta take what
Real
I can
talk.
get, but humility would be like, hey, this is what you need to do. And then you'll put it to the reps. You get, to a 640, 700 credit score. You can do many
A lot more.
things. You can
But
do a
bro,
lot more.
and that's a word when you say humility, right? Like, and again, I'm not talking from a judgmental space because that's not my intent, and I have no
Mm-hmm.
standing.
Right.
Like, my challenge is being more humble, right? My challenge is, and I've gotten a lot better with it. My wife pretty much has worked with me through a lot of that, but
That's awesome.
it's something that we do got to face, man. It's something that we have to face because I've lost a lot based on my own pride. Pride has gotten in the way of a lot. So, with all of the beauty that's available for you,
Mm-hmm.
once you put the pride aside and you're able to receive information, you're able to receive coaching and support, what becomes possible is something for you to be proud of rather than for you to just hold pride.
Mm.
Right? You'll be able to be proud of being able to buy a house or be able to be proud of putting your children through school. Like, I'm experiencing that right now. It
Mm.
sucks, but it's a good feeling when I cut that check and I know that my daughter is, straight. You know,
Yeah.
but these are things that come through maturity, right? Maturity and
Mm-hmm.
realizing that if there is a challenge, brothers, if there is a
Right.
challenge, you got to find who can help you solve it rather than trying to do it yourself. You do one ass thing good. You do
Mm.
one thing good. Maybe if two or three, everything. And if you find yourself
Mm.
trying to solve all of these problems yourself, you just being a prideful,
Mm.
G,
Yeah, it made me you
and you're not gonna.
yeah, I said you just made me think of something real when it came to pride and humility. If I could be honest on the live here today, I feel like all pride for me went out the window when my wife passed, right? Like I
Mm,
got like and we've had like tough conversation, but like yeah, because and when you building an empire, you're gonna have to have some tough conversations. But in that, I can get checked in a way that I wasn't before. Like family friends, like they can. I have these conversations now that I couldn't accept or receive before. I can admit when I'm wrong. I can admit when I messed up. I can a lot of things changed in my element of pride, and it just sat on me just now. Like anything pride related went out the window. Like anything ego related went out the window. Like to and it's not humble to call yourself humble, but to be able to identify like wow, it's not. So I'm not gonna say that. It's not humble to call yourself humble, but to be able to be like wow, like I'm not phased by anything. Because if you're gonna tell me about myself, I'm gonna give you the courtesy to listen, whether I agree or not. And that's something that a lot of men, a lot of our brothers struggle with. Like you can't tell them about themselves to improve them, no matter if you say it nice or say it aggressively. Like hey, you got to get it together, man, because you're not going. The path you're going is not gonna work. They're gonna be like, yeah, yeah, whatever, whatever. And that's the how hard it is for us to want to pour out. Like we do these free workshops, we go to churches, we're in our communities. And I remember when we were first starting this thing, we had this fire, this passion. But like 3 years in now of like the Homebuyer Academy side of things, we're like, okay, I see why people, you know, I see why people do what they do, right? And I say that to say
it's true.
we have a heart for our brothers, but y'all gotta wake up. Y'all gotta listen.
Um,
Y'all gotta take accountability. I think I'm gonna end it
yeah,
on that.
man.
I'm gonna let you give like a closing thought, and we can wrap it up with that.
Nah, you're right, brother. And this wasn't like the plan,
Yeah.
but like it was what's needed, obviously, because yo, when I tell you, I take my business personally more personal than I should, and the reason being is because I'm invested. I'm invested,
Yes. Yes.
not in the check, but I deal with transformations, bro. When I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
people come to me with low fives on their credit scores, I build them up, and then we go through the whole process. And I love being an educator. I love being a coach and a supporter. But man, if money from your woman that you buying a house with her, that's probably not the woman for you to marry. It's probably not the woman for your life. It says a lot. It's so much.
Mm-hmm.
Pray, meditation, man. And these are all things that as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me because I'm still in the midst of growing these ways. But it's done a lot
Yeah.
for me, and I pray that it does a lot for you too, my brothers. Whoever hears this, whoever's ears this comes upon, check out Route 7. If you're in
Yeah.
Orlando, you won't regret it. It's a beautiful brotherhood. I think it exemplifies, I guess, who like me and you, Mo. Like it exemplifies like
Mm-hmm.
brothers like me and you, because we here to hold you down, but we're also gonna hold you accountable.
Yeah, and and I love their saying. They always say it's an ego free zone. Like when I tell you, there's 20, 30, 40 guys up in there, all
Top dudes
accountable,
too. G's,
all
top G's.
they. If you think we something, we the least of these in that group.
I wouldn't say the least. I mean,
I wouldn't say that. A humble person don't call themselves humble. So,
right.
but yeah, but yeah, no, this is a good group. And if you're looking for something like you like or hearing this and like this spoke to me, and you just need just the mindset shift part of it, check out my podcast, More or Less podcast. We talk about mindset shifting, but I also have Homebuyer Academy on that as bonus features within that podcast. So we're here to teach, we're here to help you grow, and like he said, book a call, especially the 90%. We know y'all gonna come through, so book a call so we can get you on that phone where you're at, so you could be a future homeowner. Chad had to hop out really quick, and I'm actually about to go myself. Join the 2025 Home Buyers Club. I'm excited to show you guys all that God has for you if you're looking to become a future homeowner. And if you're in the Central Florida area, this Saturday, September 13th, we're going to be at First Baptist Church in Umatilla with our free homebuyer workshop. So share this with 5 people, tell 5 people, message 5 people, invite 5 people, and I'll catch